The air in Whitechapel in the autumn of 1888 was more than cold. It was heavy. It was a damp veil of fear and mistrust that settled over every alley, every street of slippery cobblestones. A mist that didn't come from the Thames, but from the darkness moving within the crowd. A shadow that, in a few weeks, would etch its name in history with the sharpest blade London had ever known. This is the story of the man who never existed, and who, at the same time, became more real than any of us. This is the hunt for the ghost called Jack the Ripper. Before we dive into the depths of this mystery, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You won't want to miss the darker and more disturbing details we are about to reveal. London, in that Victorian era, was a city of brutal contrasts. While the empire shone at its peak, neighborhoods like Whitechapel sank in absolute misery. They were overcrowded labyrinths where poverty and hopelessness were the daily fare. And it was in this cauldron of shattered humanity that a figure decided to create his art, a macabre art. The first official victim, Marion Nichols, was found on the morning of August 31st. What the police saw in that alley, Bucks Row, was much more than a homicide. It was a scene of carnage. The throat cut, the abdomen slashed open with ferocity that wasn't just anger, it was precision. The district went into shock, but the storm had barely begun. 8 days later, Annie Chapman was found in the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street. The level of mutilation increased. Internal organs were removed. The killer was evolving, gaining confidence. And then he decided to communicate. In late September, a letter arrived at the Central News Agency. The handwriting was dramatic, the words full of scorn. The sender called himself Jack the Ripper. The name, created by himself, would stick forever in the world's psyche. But was it him? Or was it a journalist seeking sensationalism? This is the first great doubt that erodes the legend. The most terrifying letter, the one that came with half a human kidney, the From Hell letter, was it really from him? The night of September 30th, 1888, would go down in history as a night of the double event. In just 1 hour, the Ripper struck twice. Elizabeth Stride was his third victim. Her throat was cut, but, perhaps interrupted, he could not perform his usual mutilations. The contained fury exploded less than an hour later, with Catherine et al.'s, found in Mitre Square. This was his most brutal work. Her face was disfigured, her belly opened, and a kidney was removed. The forensics of the time suggested the killer had some anatomical knowledge. A butcher? A surgeon? The police were in the dark, and the panic in Whitechapel was palpable. Popular vigils formed. Scotland Yard was overwhelmed with thousands of letters and tips. And then, on November 9th, came the final act. Mary Jane Kelly, his last canonical victim, was killed inside her own room in Miller's Court. The attack was of such extreme, such complete violence, that the place was described not as a crime scene, but as a slaughterhouse. The privacy of the environment allowed the killer to take his horrendous ritual to its peak. And after Mary Kelly's silence, Jack the Ripper simply evaporated into the London mist. He stopped. Why? Did he die? Was he arrested for another crime? Did he leave the country? Or did he simply consider his work finished? The question that has echoed for over a century is, who was he? The list of suspects is a nightmare in itself. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish barber with serious mental problems, pointed out by modern circumstantial evidence. Montague John Druitt, a lawyer who committed suicide shortly after crimes. Or even a member of the royalty, in a conspiracy theory involving Freemasonry and a cover-up at the highest level. The truth is that no theory fits perfectly. All have holes, contradictions, gaps that time has never filled. Every generation reinterprets Jack the Ripper. He is no longer a man. He is a symbol. The symbol of the evil that hides in plain sight, of the incompetence of the authorities, of the primordial fear that a single person, driven by an incomprehensible darkness, can inflict. He was the spark that ignited criminal profiling, that forever changed the way we investigate the mind of the enemy. His legend is a warning that some mysteries are simply too big to be solved, that some shadows are never fully illuminated. And what do you think? Who was the real Jack the Ripper? Was it one of the famous suspects, a figure history has yet to discover? Or was his identity lost forever in the dusty archives of time? Comment below with your theory. And if you know someone who loves a good unsolved mystery, share this video. The legend, after all, only continues because we tell it.